Move to adopt. Second.
All right, any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, approval of the previous meeting minutes. David had passed those out a few minutes ago. I hope while you were chatting you had a chance to review those. So we'll entertain a motion to approve those when you're ready.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right. Any changes, additions, deletions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Public input. Does anybody have anything? Come on. All right. Committee and authority members' reports.
The financial report, if you want that to begin with, is the email came out to me this afternoon with the financial reports. My apologies, I was working this afternoon, didn't get a chance to print it out. I will pull it up here and tell you that there's only a couple of things that look out of line in the report. One has to do with the reimbursement on the rotating beacon. That money's not in yet, so it still looks out of line in the budget. Once that comes in, should be just fine. And otherwise, the fuel purchases look extremely low. Randy, I'm going to guess you're going to tell us that that is, from a volume perspective, we're not that far off, but because of the lower price of the fuel, the financials just don't match up with where they ought to be.
Yes.
Okay, so that's really the only two things in there that concern me from the numbers. We still have the cost for the triple wide having been moved over there. Don't know how that's going to net out on the balance sheet, but it is what it is. We'll deal with it as we must. Otherwise, the report looked in order to me.
All right. And you emailed those.
Emailed them to the group just a few minutes ago.
Okay.
The phone should have buzzed and you should have a copy of it now.
All right.
CIP, I've worked a bit on the CIP with our engineer, and we've got some additions and some changes in there, nothing that's really significant. We're basically moving things forward a year as we should. The additions that we're putting in are primarily around lighting and safety. So by end of next week, we'll have that draft pulled together and emailed out to the group for review. So rather than waiting until the next meeting for approvals, I'd like to submit this, get comments, adjust as necessary, and then do an email vote for approvals so we can get it submitted in advance of timeline for the submission date. Anything else on the CIP that we need to?
You always do a great job. You're out front. The submission date is the end of November. So if you follow this timeline, there's a lot of work done with Paul and Ed last year to put this in a solid structure. So now your movement on it is fairly small. So just some detailed things. So you'll be on track to be well out in front of that deadline. So you'll be in good shape.
Okay. So we could actually approve even at the regular November meeting.
Yeah,
Okay.
and like Ed said, because of where it is for submit, you got to submit it anyway. So it's not there's not a lot of movement on it. It's just some tweaking to make it kind of a little more precise for what we need right now.
So then we do it in the next meeting. I thought we needed it prior to, but that's good.
Okay.
Good.
All right.
That's it.
All right. Airport managers report.
Yeehaw. I'd like to thank everyone for the open house success that we had. I'd estimate between 300 and 400 people turned out Saturday. Pickens County Chamber of Commerce ran the transportation, and they did one of the signs from our gas pumps. Atlantic Coast Conservancy Properties LLC and Ted Scott, Eric Broadwell, 61 Main did the catering. It was an amazing job. Lead Edge Design Group with Phil and Reg and Lauren. They had some freebies for the children coming out. They were a huge success. Balsa wood aircraft and airplane style plastic whistles with the prop turns. It was pretty cool.
Some of the children were.
Yeah, I got one. Okay.
Children of all ages.
Yes, children of all ages. Pickens County Progress, Dan Poole was there. KnowPickens, Mary was there. Our saving grace, the end, the weather finally cleared above 700 feet, and Tiger Flight flew in from Rome. The Tiger Flight Formation flight team, and I'd like to especially thank Phil Catalog, who is fighting weather and time and distance to try to get into us, but they gave a great demonstration. We have some video up on KnowPickens took some photos, and we have it on our Pickens County Airport Facebook page. The Front Porch Gang did an amazing job. Debbie and Henry McFarland, Don Jones, Lowell, Carolyn Thomas, Reed Dillbeck, and a lot of others that did time and donations and volunteer work. Don Jones, he was really helpful about using his own materials to cut grass and help us out. I also like to thank my 2 team members, the assistant manager Tim Hoskins and his wife Janine. Raise your hands. Hey. Without them, it would not have been possible, and with Lionel keeping the grounds as well. We did our trash, our parking, we did it, it was everything. So it wouldn't have been possible to do it alone. It took a lot of dedication, hard work. And next year we look for even bigger and better, and it's October the 6th, 2018. We're already geared up for it. I'm already trying to get requests in. The Airport Authority members, you have our sales for September. 100 low lead was actually quite high. We were over 3,600 gallons for 100 low lead. Jet A was respectable, and the Air Methods used higher than average, and they're already flying again. So we had, 2 hurricanes that kind of slowed us down weather-wise. If it's raining and below minimums, no one's flying. So if you see a 0, as the day it was raining cats and dogs. We had a couple of days this month already, but we're recovering nicely, and our sales are holding steady. The 25th of this month, it's tentative, it's a soft schedule for 2 Blackhawks and 4 CH-47s to come in for fuel. They're estimating a 5,000 gallon delivery that day. So I'm gonna make sure I have 5,000 gallons of jet fuel. Actually, probably 8. But September actually was a good month. And so we've been knocking it right along. On the budget, to piggyback the treasurer's report, we are at 67%. We should be at or below 75%, so we're below budget. But our sales, we're making a little bit less money, but we're selling more fuel, so it's going to Peter pay Paul. We will go up on our fuel prices probably by the 15th. We're getting a new computer installed. We've had some technical difficulties for the last since the computer crashed, and our fuel master people in Florida have gotten with our computer people with the county. They're building a computer. It'll be installed Wednesday. Yay. So hopefully all of our glitches will be taken care of. I would like to personally thank again, so many people helped us with the air show. Are there lessons to be learned? Yes, but every year is an opportunity, and this was our first one, so you got to get your feet wet. And I welcome any public input at all. I look forward to seeing all that cut grass turn into asphalt and hangers in the near future, and I'm really excited about that. Any questions?
And Randy, we add you to that list of thank yous.
Absolutely.
Certainly couldn't
Thank
have
you.
it without you.
Thank you.
But impressive numbers.
Yeah, we had a good, multiple crowd
Have a
waves.
lot of kids.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And not one scraped knee, broken bone, or injury of any kind that I know of other than my own dilapidated body. Other than that, I think we're okay.
I think that's normal wear and tear.
That's normal wear and tear.
Age and mileage, buddy.
And really thank Phil Everly, especially for the whistles on behalf of the 2 4-year-olds that spent the night with me Saturday night.
That's the badge for yeah, you're welcome. That's a band from next year.
Starting calling and thanking.
Yeah, came real close in the middle of the night. Yeah.
Put them a drum set together.
Where is it? Everybody take one. Wonderful.
All right, thank you, Randy.
Thank you.
All right, Phil?
The T-hanger project, if you remember from last month, we expect to have, there's a little delay on the survey, but we expect to have the design done by this month. It is done, it's ready to go out for bid this week. That ARC puts you in a position where the bids would be open on Thursday the 9th, and then next month's meeting is on Monday the 13th. So we would open bids, review those, and have that information to present, so you can move forward with those. But that'll give you pricing for hangers, pricing for all the site stuff. You can see how that compares to what the estimates were, and then we move forward from there. But that'll give you the data that you need to move forward. So we'll have those by the next meeting.
Okay.
Working with Mr. Keller back here on his hangar project. The same survey that was used for that is now available for his projects. We're finalizing those plans, and then that'll be moving forward quickly as well. So
The T-hanger project's for 20 T-hangers. Is that current design? Is it 20?
Actually, you've
Flush
got-
out?
For 19.
yeah,
Now
so
take-
so one's a standard and one's a jumbo. So roughly the same, they're the same width, 60 feet. The length, 9 jumbo is about the same as 10 regular units. So this is, what I talked about Don and Ed today. So it's like the game show, your final answer. Today's the last time you have to do anything different. You run financial models and things like that. So the one standard, one jumbo, given that you already have 2 existing standard, that's probably a good way to go. So that's how we'll move forward.
So that would give us 28 standards, because we have 18
Correct.
standard T-hangers now, plus an additional 10.
Mhm.
And then 9 jumbos. And it's not to say you can't put a standard airplane in a jumbo, but without the jumbos, we're limited. We can't put any of the twins and things in there. Does that make,
That's
from
exactly right.
is that the right ratio from a ratio of small T-hangers to larger T-hangers?
It is, because then you'll be offering other, ultimately, you may have constructed some larger, 100 by 100 or 80 by, but you'll have that to offer. Robert's hangers are 60 by 60, so it gives you a real nice blend of things to offer, because then you can, with that tease, if someone was to pair up and go in one of those 6 by 6, that frees up hanger space, and you can continue to scrub off that backlog. So, yeah, all good. Should position you really well with the mix of hangers you have.
Okay.
Very good.
Any comments on that mix from you guys? I mean, that's great. Right approach.
Are we gonna have storage units at the end of the building?
And you end up with a half unit on each, for each tee, right?
Excellent.
So, and then
RV
from a
builders love
restroom,
those.
right, from a restroom standpoint, what we'll do, like,
Take one
after
of
this
the
is done, you
different
come
people
come back
forward.
later and get that as a quote with somebody separate to build that out after that's done.
But we stuff it
versus-
all in.
Yeah, it'll be stuffed in, and that lets you save the 10% markup that this prime contractor would put on it. And, yeah, and there you go. You even have, I think, the existing might be stubbed. If you want to go forward with that, you
We have
might be able
some
to look
stubs
over
there.
there and do something quicker if you wanted to, but if not, you have the ability to put it on the end on this one.
It's ready. Piping's already in.
So maybe then
Once a pump station.
somebody can go to the bathroom now versus waiting several months.
Well, we gotta get the pump station in first, because
Yes.
we can't tie into the
Yeah.
septic or sewer
Correct.
system. So until that's done, it's a moot point.
But there's, you've got stuff coming in these days.
Right.
Yeah, all good.
Could you also talk about timeline now that the signs?
Right, so you'll have, so let's say this information, and we open on the 9th. So if we open on the 9th and we see that it is a contract that we're familiar with, and we will share that right away. I mean, we have to put it together and verify their bonding and some stuff like that, but when we hit the 13th, we would expect it to be somebody we're familiar with. So if we hit the 13th, it's not, we'll provide the information, but still be kind of vetting them out. If you took a month, we'll say, to decide, to do loan or whatever, and you were ready to sign a contract at the December meeting, for example. So in December, a contract signed, that contractor can then order steel. So we've got a 90 to 120 day time on the steel. And then they can be doing their other materials and get ready to mobilize and all that, and be ready to go into work in February, for example. The steel delivery time is really good to drive the arc of the project. So if they order steel late, second half of December, they're gonna get it, March or April. Then they need about 60 days to put that all up. In the meantime, we'll be doing all the site work, but that really is kind of the immovable part, is the delivery of the steel and then erecting the building. So that puts you, in a May 1st, June 1st, in that arc. If you take longer to make the decision, take an extra month, push it an extra month. Make it quicker than a month. I mean, you can't save a lot, because even if you turned it in a week, you'd save a couple weeks on the construction. So you're looking at May 1st, June 1st.
But even at that time of the year, you're looking for good weather to do paving.
Yeah, but we would be doing, the paving can come in while the building's being erected, for example. Because we want to get the concrete slab down first and then pave up against it, because the asphalt's flexible pavement.
But that still means paving's gonna be in a fun time of the year.
We want it, yeah, we would like the ideally, we'd say after April 1st. For us, comment was we could get it in March a little bit, but bottom line is with all that erection, we can still do it in April.
So the site work and the concrete work has to be done during the winter months to achieve that time.
Really, the concrete pad needs to be down about March, is really when we're gonna put that down, and that's okay, temporary, that's all right. The asphalt can come in April, and so it all sequences out, but the real thing as far as you being able to crunch it, if somebody asks, can you compress that? Whatever you do with anything else, the delivery on the steel, and then once you get it, the pad's already down, once you get it and put it up, that's like 3 or 4 months, and then 2 months, and so that's pretty immovable, but so we'll have this ready for you to look at next month, and you can decide on the price and loan and how you want to go forward.
Thank you.
And that other than CIP stuff, it is referenced, that's all we do.
All right, thank you. Old business, Mary, website, you want me to talk about?
Well, I told Randy about it.
Just,
I didn't know if y'all wanted to give input, because we talked about that before, if I should work with Randy, if y'all even want one. Still,
I have an invoice.
since it's been sitting there.
Pickens, track that in. Just got an email. We want to keep the KnowPickens connection to do our advertising, keep our website. Most of that cost is for the domain name.
And the hosting.
Got to keep it active, and she wants to start working that to the board members and the airport, feed her information, upcoming events, open house, et cetera, highlights, flybys, and possibly sell ad space to recoup some of that. But that's the latest and greatest from.
Yeah, we still have a framework, remember we talked about it, it's just sat there.
So how do we get that moving forward? 'Cause
That's what I didn't know, if it needs to be through you, through Randy, or everybody, I don't know, that's where you wanna go with that.
I would say that, Paul, do you want to get involved in this? Is this something that you want to take on as a project on the website, layout, design, look, that sort of thing?
Probably not capable,
Okay.
too old for computer.
I just need input, I guess,
And I'll take that project. I work with you, Randy, and and we'll then come back with a draft look of it with you guys and run it in front of the group for.
And we do have just the page right now on the website.
Yeah,
The
we
front
kind
page.
of did enough, but it doesn't go really anywhere, it's just a
Right.
one page, has the Facebook on there at least, it does pull
Let's
up.
work a little bit on that, because
Yeah.
I have some ideas on a website design that I think would work well there. And as I look at other airports' websites, they're much more informational
Yeah.
for the pilots as well as for passengers and interested parties looking in there. And I think there's an opportunity to improve the web presence as well as the advertising that we're doing through there. So I think it's worth taking a look at and working a little bit on it
And
design.
we do have a Cessna owner on the field that owns her own website design company, Candace Long. That's her business. So we might be able to work something out to get some input.
Yeah.
Say,
Good
what's
point.
design.
I'll take on that project. We can talk later this week and figure out a schedule and a plan.
Okay,
I agree, the website would be a good thing, but Randy's doing a great job with getting his exposure with Facebook.
His Facebook posts are numerous and good. It really does draw a lot of attention out there. I like the pictures.
If you land, I'm taking your picture, period. You're not sneaking in and out of here.
Well, I've been able to so far, and I want to continue to.
7979.
All depends on the type of land.
Well, that's true. That's true. Did you see my landing on the little 172 last week? I've never flown before.
I'll put the video.
All right, any other old business? Well, new business, we've got some good news, and probably some are already aware of it, but with generosity of Robert Keller and ACC, he has committed between raising some money and funding himself to fund the construction of our new terminal building. As y'all know, that's been in the CIP, so it's in our 5-year plan. but with this, we're gonna be able to accelerate that to the very near term. He's gonna build it, because of his company ACC and that corporate purpose. He's gonna build it or design it, in accordance with LEED standards. Am I saying that right? And so that in my everyday language, environmental friendly,
Green.
way.
Engineering and environmentally friendly, very little waste.
Do you think a net zero type,
Here.
So
set up or-
there's different standards to meet, and one of the things that we've seen, and let me backpedal here just a minute. Of course, the Atlantic Coast Conservancy is the only land trust that's in its mission statement is dealing with the critical climate times that we're in. And Phil Landrum is one of my board members, and Don Oliver here Don is now our Director of Special Projects. Don used to be Walker County's attorney for umpteen gazillion years now. If he has that lean, hungry look, he earned it in the battlefield of like county politics. But Don's going to be my special projects director. What we were trying to do is, I like this. Randy, I thought you did an outstanding job at fly-in. You know my partner here, and with working with the Chamber of Commerce, it seemed like the thing to do. It seemed like that the airport up there was this wonderful jewel that really needed just a little push. And from what I understand from some of the politics of the day, it says if you believe in your community as opposed to waiting around for other things to happen, you need to fund it. And we have the opportunity to do so. And when Phil Landrum and I were speaking, he said, well, why don't we make it environmentally sound? And that kind of fits into our raison d'etre. But you really don't have to look too far. Chattanooga is the only LEED certified airport in the United States, from what I understand. And it's a beautiful airport. It was locally designed. And I feel like that if we can do something a little bit different, and Amberly, tell them about what we just found out about Pickens County and Jasper in regards to the score on bringing businesses to.
There's a report that just came out that Jerry forwarded to me just a little bit ago that Jasper ranks 4th among the 100 cities in Georgia to start a small business. And the best 100 cities to start a small business, Jasper's 4th. Talking Rock was like 40-something. So we had a couple in there, but I think that was pretty significant that we were 4th.
Which, regardless of how they scored it, I think that is a wonderful thing, and we should shake the pom-poms in a vigorous manner in regards to our scoring of being number 4 and try desperately hard to be number 1. But that airport, and for those of you who didn't make it up there, one of the things that I found the most outstanding about the whole day, and Randy, I'm sure you heard it too, was people who've lived here all their lives and said, I've never been here before. I've never been up here. And just to have the fly-in and the noise, I wish we would have had a few more noisemakers and a few more nice airplanes.
Yes.
I'm beginning to see that a fly-in is basically a car show with aviation capability. But we'll do it better next time. And
Yes,
I
sir.
think everybody else was
Yes,
was eager and impressed. And I do believe that polishing up that wonderful apple that we have up there is something that's going to make us all proud. How it happens, not really sure, but I do know that if we fund it privately, it'll get there quicker, and we can kind of predicate how it happens. And I do think LEED certification is, in some ways, it's as good as you can get. It doesn't necessarily mean that we are going to achieve that, because sometimes the site index and whatnot. But Phil Deverly, correct me if I'm wrong, going towards LEED specification opens us up for several extra grants and
There's other angles you can take with that. And so I've spoken with Robert, so the idea of maximizing all that is absolutely, there's some limitation just by the sheer footprint of the terminal building. You don't have quite the elements you would have if you had more space around it for some of the site things that we've got to get in there. But absolutely driving it, maximize it, it continues to set you up for other things down the road. Really even small business starters.
And for those of you who have been up to the airport, hopefully all of you have, the most spectacular view in the county as far as I'm concerned. And if we can maximize not just the visibility of the airport, but also the cosmic tumblers that are in place, that people are now coming here, and maybe this will be our tipping point that they're always talking about. But the ACC, on behalf of my board members and my employees and my associates, We would be honored to fund this. We could fund it straight off if we would like to, but we would like to try an environmentally sound bent to it. I don't think it's going to hurt anything. You don't have to believe in climate change to be part of the solution. And what we'd like to do is try and help it to where it's going to be built environmentally sound and privately funded. And I think that in itself, we can, there's another pom-pom shaker right there that we didn't have to go back to an already taxed county and say, would you give us more? If we can fund this on our own, I think that speaks volumes of the community and the community spirit that we got to see this past weekend in spades. So I'm honored. If you have any questions for us, probably can't answer because we this is like in Mad Max, ain't got no plan, but we're going somewhere. So we're getting there, and hopefully you'll all help us and give us ideas. I like to talk to Amberly about, we went to Mobile, Alabama, and they had a pole vaulting exposition in the downtown area, and we thought, who in the heck came up with that? Because don't you know, they said, that's never going to work. People were there at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and they were still there at 11:30 at night when we went home. So what's going to work, how it's going to work, we really don't know, but we feel like this with airport and certainly with the positive turnout that we had on Saturday, that this may be something that we can do to help. So thank you for the opportunity, for giving me the opportunity to help, and I hope I make you proud on this. So thank you.
Thank you. Yep, we very much appreciate it.
You will get no shortage of opinions on what it should be. Sit around the table at the airport and you'll get more than an earful.
Good. Well, like I say, go to Chattanooga, and I'm sure some of you have already flown out of Chattanooga. It's a beautiful airport, absolutely gorgeous, and it's the only one of its kind. And we'd like to be the second.
Alton, Wisconsin, FBO may be the first LEED certified FBO. The airport itself is not fully LEED certified, but the new building, I think, is LEED certified. The terminal is not.
They also have a hangar over in Chattanooga that is certified too, and we would like to build our hangars. Of course, Phil says there's limitations in regards to the hangars because it is just kind of a big box with a great big door. But in regards to being able to recycle our waste and do things that just make good business sense, I think we can do that.
Thank
Very
you.
good. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's exciting. Sure is. We've talked about a new building for a long time, and Randy's been trying to keep this one from falling down, so. I'm not sure how much longer he can work that
Triple wide
magic.
to work out, so.
Losing weight keep from falling through the floor. Come on.
Whatever it takes, Randy.
That's
whatever it
right.
takes.
Going 100%.
All right, any other business? Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much for coming.